What's up guys, Galaxy King here, and today I've got my cubic deck profile. If you want a deck that is powerful, simple to learn and budget friendly, then this is the deck for you. It is so much fun to play and it is one of my favourite decks at the moment. So let's go on with the deck profile. So starting off, I have triple Doozer, the Meteor Cubic Vessel. This is one of your main starters and it's an amazing card because it's a Foolish Burial for all of your cubic cards. And a lot of the cubic spell and trap cards all have graveyard effects. So cubic karma, which is the one you're going to be sending the majority of the time, you can banish that card from your graveyard and then add a cubic monster from your deck to your hand. So it's good for your starters and it also helps your plays going forward. It also has an effect where it can gain 200 attack for each monster with a different name sent to the graveyard this turn, which doesn't come up a lot, but it's still a useful effect just to help buff its attack up. And there are some situations where if you have this and cubic karma in your hand, you can summon it, send whatever you need, and then use cubic karma on Doozer to buff it up to 4,000 attack points. And you can win games with Doozer as well, and I have. Even if you don't get access to Crimson Nova, which is your win condition, Doozer can win you games easily just as well. So triple Doozer is absolutely mandatory to play in this deck. It's just your enabler for all your combos, and you definitely need to play 3 of this. For your win condition, triple Crimson Nova, the Dark Cubic Lord. This card is absolutely insane. To special summon it, you need to reveal 3 cubic cards in your hand with different names. You can also reveal another copy of itself as well, which is important. When this card destroys a monster by battle, it can attack twice, and it has 3,000 attack, so most likely it's going to be getting over a lot of monsters. But also, it is unaffected by monsters whose original attack is 3,000 or less. So this card is unaffected by most monsters in the game, things like Boral Sword or Dragoon. Those cards are really powerful, and just being unaffected by cards like Dragoon is really amazing. But also, during the end phase, both players take 3,000 points of damage. This card is an absolute must to play in this deck, and you want to get access to it as quickly as possible. It just wins you games so quickly, just being able to attack twice with 3,000 attack points and burning both players for 3,000. This is absolutely amazing. Also, another card that I've tested with this is a card called Speed Burst Dragon, which I don't think a lot of people really know what it does, because it's a rocket monster that helps the rocket deck, but it's very rarely played. I've never seen anyone else play it. But what Speed Burst Dragon does is, when you take effect damage, you can special summon it from your hand and then inflict damage to the opponent equal to the damage you took, and then you regain half. So Speed Burst Dragon with Crimson Nova, you can deal 6,000 points of damage to your opponent and you will only take 1,500. I really love that. Unfortunately, I'm not maining Speed Burst at the moment. I would definitely side it, but just for how this current format is, I wanted to play a couple of hand traps instead of Speed Burst. But Speed Burst Dragon is definitely a card to consider because of just how much damage it can help put on the field. But triple Crimson Nova, absolutely mandatory to play off. This card just wins you games so quickly. For your other cubic monsters, I'm playing triple V-Jarm, the Cubic Seed. This is another must-of as a free-off because it enables your cubic karma as well, so you can buff up your other cubics as well. It's good with cubic ascension as well. It's also a really good stall card as well because it can't be destroyed by battle. And also, when it's attacked, you can place this card in the spell and trap zone and then place a cubic counter on one monster the opponent controls that attack this card. And monsters with a cubic counter have their effects negated. Also, they cannot attack. So this card is really useful just for storing out your game. And also, Cubic Dharma helps this card because then you don't take battle damage from attacks involving your cubics. So you can leave this on the field as long as you like without it being destroyed by battle. So it's really useful for just negating the effects of problematic monsters. So it helps there. It's a really nice card as a free of, and you do unfortunately need to play 3 of this. And also, it's a very useful card for certain situations as well. So triple V-Jarm is another mandatory free of in this deck, unfortunately. So triple V-Jarm for your one-off cubics, 1 Giro Guile, 1 Vulcan Drakini, and 1 Indiora Doomvault. I've seen some people mix around with what other cubics they would play, like they might play 1 Giro Guile or another cubic that can attack twice. But I enjoy just playing these three because you use the effect of Gear of Guile to summon it, burn for 800, and then if it attacks you can, I believe, send it to the graveyard, summon 2 cubic seeds from your graveyard, and then search out Vulcan Drakini, and then same thing with Vulcan Drakini, that'll search out your India or Doomvault, and then India or Doomvault can search out any other cubic card. And the only reason I like these three is because they search each other out and they all do burn damage, which is what I want to do with this deck. I want to focus primarily on burn damage, and really Girigale is the only one you summon the majority of the time. These two are just extra names to help summon Crimson Nova, but if you do manage to summon these two, that's fine, but Girigale is the one you want to search out the most just because it requires you to send 1 cubic card. Sorry, cubic monster you control to the graveyard and special summon it and then burn for 800. So if you can send something like Doozer to the graveyard, you use Doozer's effect to send something like Unification of the Cubic Lords, and then summon this, and then Unification's effect will activate in the graveyard. When a cubic monster leaves the field, you can banish it and then special summon a level 4 or low cubic from your deck, including Doozer, because Doozer is not a once per turn, which is really amazing. So you can go from there. There's a bunch of other combos you can do with cubics as well, including these ones. But for the time being, these as one-offs I think is absolutely fine. For extenders that I'm playing, Triple Summoner Monk. This is a really good card in this deck because when it's summoned, you place it into the defense position, and then you can discard a spell card, special summon 1 level 4 monster from your deck. So you can use this effect to discard something like Cubic Karma, special summon Doozer, and then Doozer can send something else as well, which is really nice. And then you can go into your rank 4s or your link summonings, whatever you need. And then if you send something like 2 Cubic Karmas, you get 2 draws off of that, which is really nice. So Summoner Monk can really speed this deck up, just being able to summon Doozer out directly from the deck. And it also helps go into your Utopia the Lightning, which again will push for more damage, which could close the game for you. So Triple Summoner Monk, it's a really nice extender and it does its job very well. For the hand traps I'm playing, Triple Nibiru and Triple Ash Blossom. I like playing Nibiru in this deck because going first, this deck doesn't really have a very good board that it can end on other than just Crimson Nova, but even then there are ways to get over Crimson Nova. So I like having Nibiru because Crimson Nova is unaffected by Nibiru. Because its attack is 3000, when it activates it will hit the field, but Crimson Nova will still stay on the field because it's unaffected by Nibiru's effect, which is really nice. I really like having that effect. And also Ash Blossom is just a really powerful hand trap at the moment because of the amount of decks that rely on draw power. So Triple Nibiru I like because, as I just said, Crimson Nova is unaffected by it, and Ash Blossom because it's a very powerful hand trap in the game at the moment. So that's it for the monsters. I'm going to go on to the spells now. For the spells, Triple Cubic Wave and Triple Cubic Karma. These two are really powerful because Cubic Wave can double the attack of 1 cubic you control and then half the attack of 1 monster the opponent controls, and that's not a once per turn. So if you have multiples of this in your hand and something like Crimson Nova, you can get Crimson Nova up to 12,000 attack points and then half the attack of 1 opponent's monster twice, and that could easily win you the game there. It also has a really nice graveyard effect as well, where you can banish this card from your graveyard and any number of cubic monsters, and then place that many cubic counters on monsters the opponent controls, and monsters with a cubic counter can't attack, also their effects are negated. So Cubic Wave is an amazingly powerful card to play in this deck, and it really helps push the game. And then Cubic Karma is another card which helps put more damage on the field because you can target a cubic monster you control except for V-Jam, and then send any number of V-Jam from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and then that monster gains 800 attack points for each V-Jam you sent. So that's why I play Triple V-Jam, because there's sort of staples in this deck that you have to play, and again they help stall for game as well. And also, if this card is in the graveyard, you can banish it and then add a cubic monster from your deck to your hand, and again that is not a once per turn. So just being able to have a non once per turn rotor in this deck is absolutely amazing. And again, Doozer is a non once per turn Foolish Burial, so that is absolutely amazing. The majority of cards in this deck aren't once per turn, which is what makes this deck really powerful. And also it has another effect where, I don't use this effect very often, but if V-Jam, the Cubic Seed, is special summoned during the opponent's turn, you can half your opponent's life points by sending this card to the graveyard. Which doesn't come up often, but it's still a really nice effect to have, and that is still really powerful to have. And then the last cubic spell I'm playing is 2 cubic Dharma. I only play 2 of this because this is one of the only cubic cards that is a hard once per turn on both its effects. It's good for draw power because it's a continuous spell which allows you to discard a cubic card and then draw a card. So if you discard something like cubic Karma, you can then banish Karma from the graveyard and get another draw for that. So it helps dig into your deck and also helps get to your Crimson Nova in time as well. It also allows you to banish it from the graveyard and then add a cubic monster from your graveyard to your hand. So it's good for just recycling your monsters as well. But also while it's on the field, you don't take any battle damage from attacks involving your cubic monsters, which I like. It's nice to have that little bit of protection, but these are the only cubic spells that I play because there really aren't a lot. There are more cubic traps than cubic spells, but the majority of them aren't very good. There are only 2 really good cubic traps in this deck, but the cubic spells are all really powerful. So triple wave, triple calm, but only 2 Dharma. I feel like these are just fine the way they are because they're really powerful, and again the majority of them aren't once per turn, which is what makes this deck really amazing. So that's it for the cubic spells. For another spell I'm playing that helps speed the deck up is triple Foolish Burial Goods. Just helps send your unification of the cubic lords or cubic karma from your deck to the graveyard, helps speed the deck up. For the one-off spells, 1 reasoning, 1 upstart goblin and 1 instant fusion. I play reasoning just for digging into the deck and getting cards that you would want to see in your graveyard into the graveyard. I have upstart for consistency and draw power, and instant fusion to summon your Thousand Eyes Restrict and then hopefully get rid of 1 monster the opponent controls. So these are the only one-offs that I play in this deck. That's it for the spells. I'm going to go on to the traps now. For the traps that I'm playing, triple unification of the cubic lord. This is a really good card because when your cubic monster leaves the field while this card is in the graveyard, and that can be by anything. If it doesn't have to be destroyed, it can either be sent to the graveyard by anything or added back to your hand. It really doesn't matter if it's destroyed or not. If you link something with it, this will trigger and then you can banish it from the graveyard. Special summon a level 4 or lower cubic monster from your hand or deck. So I think it might just be deck, but it's a really powerful card. It also lets you fusion summon into your fusion monster, which in the years that I've been playing this deck I have never ever done, because the fusion is so difficult to summon because you need 3 Crimson Nova into your hand or on the field. That can be really annoying, and then you have to set this, wait a turn and then activate it. That can be really annoying, and Crimson Nova can just do the job on its own just fine. So I don't really want to have to get rid of 3 Crimson Novas just for a fusion monster. I play 1 of it just in case it ever needs to come out. So I don't think that hurts, but in a future build I might take that out because I've never summoned it in the years that I've been playing this deck. But unification as a free of is absolutely fine because it helps summon cubics from your deck. So I really like that. And then 2 Cubic Ascension. This is a new card that we got. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon 1 V-Jump, the Cubic Seed, from your hand, deck or graveyard, and then change the attack target to that. And then because V-Jump can't be destroyed by battle, and then when it attacks, you can send it to your spell and trap zone and place a cubic counter on that opponent's monster, and then it can't attack, its effects are negated. That's really nice, I like that. And also, if it's in the graveyard and your opponent's life points are 2,000 more than yours, you can banish it from the graveyard and then special summon any number of V-Jump Cubic Seed from your hand, deck or graveyard. So that's really good, I like that. It's good for just summoning monsters to your field. So it's really powerful, I like that, and it can really help you stay in the game a bit more, which I found out, and it does help stall the game as well. So triple unification and double ascension, they're both really good, I like them. There's another card called Cubic Casualty, but that requires a bit of setup, and the majority of the time you're not really going to have that many cubic monsters on the field, because you activate Cubic Casualty and then it places cubic counters on your opponent's monsters up to the number of cubic monsters you control. But the majority of the time you're only going to have either Doozer or Crimson Nova on the field at any point. So I don't really think that running Casualty is really useful because it requires a lot of setup. But these 2, I think they're fine. So that's it for the main deck. I'm going to go onto the extra deck now. For the extra deck, 1 Crimson Nova Trinity, the Dark Cubic Lord. This is a monster that I've never summoned just because of how difficult it is. I'm fine with playing just the one of, just in case it ever does have to come up. But as I said, in a future build, I might take it out just because I've never summoned it. It does require 3 Crimson Nova, which I said. It can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects, which compared to Crimson Nova's effect, where it's just unaffected by everything, I think I prefer Crimson Nova. When it attacks, it halves the opponent's life points, which is nice. And it can also attack twice as well if it destroys a monster. So you can halve your opponent's life points twice, which I think is nice. And also when you take effect damage, you inflict damage to your opponent equal to the damage you took. So it's a fairly decent and solid card, but just for the amount of setup that you need to summon this, and because you can easily summon multiple Crimson Novas, I really don't think this card is worth playing, so I might take it out in a future build. So, but as a one-off, I really don't think that hurts. And then 1,000 Eyes Restrict. This is your instant fusion target, so you summon it. If you're going second, you summon it, steal an opponent's monster, and then you go into your relinquished anima, and then get rid of another monster, which I like having, it's nice. And then I've got a Utopia package of Utopia and Utopia the Lightning. Just helps push for more damage, and you can easily win games with this as well, and Doozer, because even though Crimson Nova is your win condition, you still got cards like this and Doozer can get buffed up to 4,000 and even more, which I really like. And then 1 Babushka, the Tired Taper. This just helps store for time as well, which is nice. Sorry, store for games so you can get into your monsters. 1 Abyss Dweller, just to help get rid of cards in the opponent's graveyard by negating them, which also really good against decks that rely on cards being in the graveyard. 1 Dark Grease Timeless, good for multiple reasons. It can draw into more cards, can double an opponent's attack points, and it helps especially something from the graveyard, which is a nice one-off. It can't target Crimson Nova, unfortunately, because Crimson Nova is unaffected by it, but for other monsters, it's really good. And 1 Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Guster Max. You can summon 2 Crimson Nova, and you can't FTK the opponent by using their effect. You can just go into this, which is nice. Being able to burn for 2,000 can be useful in certain situations. And I've got a Nightmare package of 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, and 1 Nightmare Cerberus, just to get rid of any annoying cards the opponent has. 1 Relinquished Anima for what I just said with 1,000 Eyes Restrict. Summon it, get rid of a monster, go into this, get rid of another monster, which is nice, I like that. Then 1 Link Rebo and 1 Secure Gardener. These two are nice in this deck because you summon Link Rebo and then go into Secure Gardener, and then for the rest of the turn you don't take any damage. So if you're going first, you can summon Crimson Nova and this, and then because of Secure Gardener's effect, you don't take the 3,000 points of damage during the end phase, which is nice, I like that. And then 1 Underclock Taker, just to help push for more damage by reducing our opponent's monsters by attack by another monster's attack, which is nice, I like that. It helps push for more damage as well, which is what you want to do with this deck. Just being able to put out massive amounts of damage in this deck is amazing. And that's it for the deck profile. I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know what you thought in the comments below and where you think I could improve in this deck. And as always, if you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll talk to you all in the next video. Take care.